Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Sunday Ramblings in Cube World, episode 31. For me, it is currently Saturday. I was about to say Friday. I don't know why. Saturday, February 22nd, 2014. Hope everyone's been having a good week. There has been so much going on this week. I'm almost tempted to call it the week of the gamer, or at least the week of the indie gamer. I have a ton of topics here written down in my trusty notebook that we can go through. As far as what's going on the screen here, I need to get some life potions. As you can see, I only have one left. And I need some heart flowers for that, so I'm going to have to do a lot of traveling around here. Plus, it gives me a chance to really explore this biome, since this is the first time I've been in a jungle biome, and it's rather large. So it'll give me a chance to explore. Right now I'm heading towards towards that temple that I was at before. I'm just going to try to see if I can maybe get an easy kill on the big boss man in there before everything starts respawning. Even though I only have the one health potion here. If that doesn't work out so well, I may end up aborting and just going around collecting heart flowers and doing some more exploration, see what other things this biome has to offer. Because right now all I've seen in the way of dungeons are these temples here. So it'd be interesting to see something else along the way. So that is what is on tap. For those of you who actually do watch the video and don't simply play it in the background tab, I don't really care if you do play it in the background tab. I think probably at this point, that is the most interesting thing of this, is to just kind of have this more as a podcasty type of deal than a let's play at this point. Because really, there isn't much more to say about the game until it gets updated eventually. So yeah, and a little interesting side note there. Sorry about I got to stop moving around in my chair. I have the squeakiest chair known to man here. A little side note that just made me think of is I follow on Reddit. I follow the R Let's Play subreddit, mostly because every so often you get a good tip on there about audio, not so much about video. It would be nice to get some video tips from time to time, but they don't seem to do too much on there. I guess because a lot of the video editing software takes care of most of the stuff for you. But there are times, like just as a sort of a side note here, there are times when I look at some of my videos up on YouTube and I go, why do the video quality of my videos not look quite as good as some of the other YouTubers out there? Because I follow quite a few, and one that comes to mind as having a consistently good video quality is Vintage Beef. Even at like 360p, if I'm feeling like a bandwidth saving mode. Even at that mode, his videos seem to be really quality, really crystal clear as quality. Whew. A lot of cues there. really crystal clear in the quality department. And yet mine always seem to look a little bit muddy and not right. and it's funny because I went on YouTube. YouTube actually has like some tips that they put out there for video producers, for content producers, about what bit rate you should use if you're doing 720p, or if you're doing high def 1080p and all that fun stuff. And I actually followed their recommendations to a T, but it still seems like my my quality is crap sometimes. But hopefully that's just something that is not true. it's just a perceptional thing. But every so often they give you like the subreddit gives you tips about audio. I wouldn't have realized from that if I hadn't read it on there that about the whole dynamic range compression, which I've been using ever since I think Starpoint Gemini episode 3 or so, which helps a lot as far as being audible. What it basically allows me to do is turn the sensitivity on my microphone down pretty low, so you don't get as much background noise, because I don't have any like soundproofing in here, and I have a hardwood floor, which is even worse, so I get some echo there, and then I have a slightly elevated ceiling, which can cause all kinds of echo. So I turn the gain down on my microphone pretty low, and then I use the dynamic range compression to make it so that I'm audible, not just a mumble. Although I'm not sure that helps too much, given that I am generally a mumble to begin with. So yeah, things like that, and the equalization stuff. Like, I knew about equalizing audio very early on, even before I started recording. It's something that, it's funny, it's something that a couple popular YouTubers tend to forget to do. A lot do it, but there are a few notable exceptions to that. Like, for instance, I know, and I love these guys to death, Pause on Pause and Good. I watch their videos from time to time, and Good I'm subscribed to. Pause, I watch his videos from time to time. And they both seem to have the same problem, where they will just suddenly and without warning just blurt something out really loudly, and I'm reaching for the for the volume controls on the video. Good's been pretty good about it lately, but I remember distinctly Pause was playing one of those Lego games. I forget the name of it. You're a cop in Lego City. I guess it was Lego City Stories or something like that. I don't know. And I wanted to watch the game. You know, I wanted to watch how he played it. I wanted to see the game, because it's not a game that I would ever pick up because it's for the Wii U, and I'm not much of a console guy anymore. I was for a little while when PC gaming died down quite a bit. But I'm back fully on the PC realm of things here. And I remember, I was playing this, I was watching the one episode, and I couldn't get through the episode because, like, I was reaching for the volume controls every 5 minutes. It was just getting ridiculous. At one point, he was just talking casually, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh my God, buddy!" It's like, Jesus Christ. I'm just dragging the volume all the way down. I tend to wear headphones, so it tends to blare right through my ears. So little things like that. I way off on a tangent here. Anyway, what got me on this tangent was that there was a thread recently where someone asked on the subreddit. They asked, post a video that would allow me to go to sleep or something. Like, I'm getting ready to go to bed and I want to watch a video. Post a video that I should watch. And I was thinking to myself, I was tempted. I was very tempted to just put one of these Cube World episodes up there, just link to it, and go, here, if this doesn't put you to sleep, nothing will. But I resisted the urge. So you gotta sort of take those things slowly. That's kind of one of the weird things about me, is that I have a lot of trouble, like, when it comes to advertising myself and whatnot, because I just don't know how to do it well, and I don't always feel right about it. Particularly when you're advertising yourself to other Let's Players who don't really give too much of a damn. You really want to be advertising to people who don't Let's Play necessarily. Not to say there's anything wrong with people who Let's Play. It's just, they've got their own channels to worry about. Why would they want to subscribe to me? Unless I was on a server that they were on, Anyway, so that way off on a tangent, but that kind of was the thing going through my mind. I don't even remember why I was on that tangent. I don't even remember anymore. You just gotta follow me on this journey. Oh, but what I do know is that I'm 10 minutes in here and I got a lot to cover. So perhaps I should get to it, because a lot of this is time sensitive stuff that's not going to really work too much when I'm 2 weeks out of the barn here. So we'll start off with some Kickstarter updates here. First of all, earlier in the week, Kickstarter sent out a message saying that they had been hacked. It was basically, if I remember correctly, they said that only 2 accounts had been compromised, and that the compromises that happened were not on servers that contained any kind of credit card information. So from that perspective, we're pretty well covered. One of the things I wanted to note about it, though, is the fact that they actually had some pretty darn good password policies in place. This is one of the few hacking stories where when you get some of the information, you find out, hey, they actually weren't doing too bad as far as the security concerns would go. A lot of times you hear about, plain text passwords were kept, or they used the old, some old encryption algorithm that has been long since debunked, that kind of thing. But in this case, Kickstarter was actually doing pretty good in that regard. They had 2 classes of passwords on the system, and I'm assuming since they've asked everybody to change their passwords now, that they're now all in the newer bucket of passwords. But they had older passwords that were SHA-1 encrypted multiple times with the salt. So that's actually not bad it's better than a lot of sites do. Quite a lot of sites do. And then people who had newer accounts, newer passwords, or I assume changed their passwords recently, I don't know if that's true or not, were using bcrypt for the encryption of their passwords. And that's a thing from the BSD guys love to use the bcrypt stuff, and they're heavy into security, so they use it. That is considered the high watermark of security nowadays, is to use the bcrypt stuff. So, and it's relatively quick in what it's doing. So it's a performance / difficult to crack trade-off there. So that's good. So if you do have Kickstarter accounts like I do, you should probably go in and change your password. Emails and everything else were sent out. This happened earlier in the week, so just a little note there. And since we're on the Kickstarter thing, we have quite a few updates from the Kickstarter things that I've been following. Our probably final update for Kingdom Come Deliverance. Their Kickstarter campaign ended this week. They hit their goal long time ago, but they ended up the final tally. Now you remember last week I was saying, boy, I really hope they were at actually let me turn the page here. They were at last week. They were at 776,272 pounds. And I was saying how, man, they've got 50 some odd hours left, and usually in the last 48 hours is when everybody starts getting their notifications that there's 48 hours left, and then that's usually when these Kickstarter projects tend to pick up speed. And I was hoping then that they would at least reach the 900,000 pound mark, so I could get my medieval tournament goodness in there. Well, my friends, they surpassed that by quite a bit, which means their final tally on Kickstarter was 1.106 million pounds. Their original goal was 300,000, so they well shattered that. I believe they're in the top 35 of Kickstarter funded projects as far as money raised goes. Also had an astonishing 35,384 backers. I mean, that is crazy pants stuff there, and it's awesome too to see it because it is I believe, very deserving of it. I think a lot of people are really looking forward to having sort of a medieval RPG that is more realistic than what you would normally get. As they say, as their tagline was on their Kickstarter, Dungeons and No Dragons. So because of that number, they've hit their tourney mode, which was £900,000. So there will be a tournament mode. Sweet. And then their £1 million pound goal, which they announced and then promptly surpassed this week, was you get a dog companion now, and some quests that go along with it. So you can have a nice little canine companion and probably do some some loyalty quests. I'm having flashbacks to Mass Effect here, but I imagine it'll be something similar to that. Their 1.2 million pound goal, which they didn't hit, and I'm actually kind of glad they didn't. They were going to do some better voiceovers, by the meaning of that being they were going to get a higher caliber of actors, and by that I mean well-known actors to do voiceovers, and I don't mean well-known as far as video games go. I mean well-known as in acting, as in movie and television acting go. And they had, I believe, if I remember correctly, they named some names that, or no, they didn't. I don't know. They named some possible people that they had may have wanted to look at, but they couldn't say anything for certain because schedules and all that stuff. I'm kind of glad that they didn't hit that goal because, to be honest with you, voice acting in a video game, and let me, before I finish that point, they're also doing the performance capture stuff. So, actors with the tags on, wearing tags on their faces and tags on their bodies so that they get the full range of motion and all that stuff. And that's the part that kind of irked me when they said that they were going to potentially, if they hit this goal, try to get well-known actors to do that, because TV and movie actors have a certain, there's a certain style, and I don't know what it's even called, to be honest with you, because I'm not an actor by any stretch of the imagination, but they have a certain style where they know theater has its own style, right? So let me see if I can articulate this. In theater, you're playing to an audience that is sitting far away from you, right? So all of your movements and you got to learn how to project your voice, and all of your movements, all of your acting, your physical acting is heavily exaggerated, right? Because you want the people in the cheap seats to get the same effect of your acting as the people sitting up close, right? Because there's a distance thing there, and it makes sense. For TV and movies, there's the motions are a little less exaggerated, but they're still exaggerated a little bit, right? Because the camera still has to capture a performance, right? And it's a 2D performance, right? So we don't see your we're not looking at you with our own eyes, right? So you're kind of muddied, I guess, is the best way I can explain it, on a TV show or on a movie than you would be if somebody was looking at you in real life, right? So because of that, you do exaggerate a little bit in your acting and your facial movements and all that stuff, just so that the camera picks it up and you can see it when you're watching the movie or watching TV, right? The problem with all that is when you take an actor that's trained like that and you say, okay, we want you to do some voice acting, which is fine. I mean, there are TV and movie actors who are also voice actors because there's a different sort of training that you go through, different kind of education that you have for that voice acting stuff because nobody can see you usually, right? But in this case, when they do it for video games where they're going to do performance capture, right, where they're going to actually wear tags and actually do their acting, the problem with having actors that are trained for TV and movies is that they'll do the same thing that for the camera that they would do for the motion capture. And you hear this a lot on like behind the scenes things when they're, you know, when they have these like behind the scenes vignettes on video games that have been done, like LA Noire and some of the other, I can't think of the other one, Heavy Rain, and the new one, Beyond Two Souls. Like you hear on some of the vignettes, you'll hear the directors telling the actors, like, don't overdo it. Don't overdo your acting because the computer is very good at replicating every little movement that you do, right? And the problem with that is, even when they're told that, they sometimes still do it. And so when the animators come in and they start to marry up the faces with the actual 3D models, a lot of times they have to sort of what's the phrase here? They sort of have to make it a little less precise because you tend to get into this uncanny valley where the mouths and the performance is so exaggerated when it comes onto the computer that you just can't, you know, your brain just shuts down and it's like, no, this is ridiculous. Now this is at a ridiculous level. Like anybody who's played LA Noire, there was a part in there, and I never played it, but I watched a lot of Let's Plays of it. But there are parts of it where you're a detective and you're interviewing suspects, and you have to look at their faces and look at their actions, look at their movements to see if they're lying to you. And you can see when the actors are asked to perform those things, how exaggerated and how ridiculous it looks when it gets motion captured in the computer. I mean, just an incredible amount of ridiculousness to the point where it's ridiculously easy to tell when that mechanic was in place. So to me, you don't really need big name actors. You need people who are trained or are used to acting in video games, right? Whether it's someone who's just normally a voiceover actor or someone who's done the motion capture stuff enough in video games that it comes through correctly. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad. That was a long-winded way of me saying I'm kind of glad that they didn't hit that next goal there. That being said, I'm sure they'll get some big names to do some voiceovers. Big names as far as computer games go. But that was my fascination with that. But anyway, congrats to them. Glad to see that it was as big a hit with everybody as it should have been because it is a big deal, I think. So glad to see that they're moving forward with that. Also, another little tidbit of information that came out of it. Chris Roberts, actually, of Star Crusader and Wing Commander fame, came in and wanted to talk to them, talk to the Kingdom Come Deliverance guys, because some of their videos, they were showing off cloth physics and how they were doing the different clothing and the layers of clothing and how it was working out. And both Star Citizen and Kingdom Come Deliverance are going to use the Crytek 3 engine. And so Star Citizen, one of the things they want to do is make sure that their clothing and everything behaves properly, because they want your pilots to be heavily customizable, and you're going to have flight suits and space suits and all kinds of other things going on. So they got in contact with one another, And there's going to be some collaboration there as far as code-wise, between Star Citizen and Kingdom Come Deliverance, and some tidbits and some help there potentially to get both of those games up to speed as far as that technology goes. So that sounds awesome. I'm glad to hear that that's going on. So that will be terrific and awesome and all that stuff. I gotta stop using the word awesome, but I don't have very many adjectives that I can reliably say without without offending people. Have a bit of a potty mouth. So more Kickstarter stuff. Starcrawlers. They have 19 days remaining on their Kickstarter, and they have almost reached their goal. They're at $55,043 as of right now, and their goal is $65,000. So hopefully they can hit that pretty quickly, because that'll be awesome. And there I go. I used it again. I use it without thinking. Starcrawlers is just to bring you back to speed, sci-fi, old school-ish RPG, and old schoolish in the terms of the mechanics. So it's a first-person view. It's sort of like Legend of Grimrock, first-person-ish, where the dungeon is derelict spaceships and stations and whatnot. And there are, some random events that happen along the way. You have a party of 4 adventurers, I believe, and your whole goal is to go in and just gather loot and experience and everything else along the way. And it sounds awesome. I mean, I want to see this thing succeed, because I want to play this game. I really do. Every time I look at their videos and stuff, I'm like, I want to play this game right now. They were also greenlit very recently. I'm going to go through the list of titles that on the February 19th were greenlit. There was 50 of them. I've picked out the ones that I know something about. But yes, Starcrawlers was also greenlit this week, so that is awesome. That is great. I've got to catch myself. Moving on, Galactic Princess. Galactic Princess, as I mentioned, actually, did I? Their Kickstarter had just started last week when I was talking about it. They hit their funding goal in 7 days, quite literally, and surpassed it actually. They have raised £22,060. The original goal was $20,000. There are still 21 days left, and there's still a bunch of stretch goals that they have listed here. £30,000 is the starter pack, what they're calling, which is just basically new everything. 40,000 was more modules to add onto your ship, and also I believe there was a mention of some rounded modules instead of square modules. 50 grand, some extra gameplay mechanics and some mining along the way, and then 60 grand was some better modding support for the community. And then they have a bunch more after that, but I'm not even gonna dig into that because we're not there yet. I have a feeling that this might take off some more. We'll see. They also announced on Twitter, I believe like 15 hours ago or so, that they're going to have a robot design contest. And there was a link there. I will, hopefully, if I remember while I'm writing up the description of this episode, hopefully I'll remember to grab that link for you guys and put it up in the description. So that is going on. That has already reached its goal, and I'm happy to see that continue. I'm very interested in that. As again, it's got a very Interstellaria feel to it. It's 2D. It's Terraria, essentially, in space, but with spaceships and some piracy and smuggling and general ne'er-do-well stuff. And there is a story there with some quests. There's been some announcements around it, and I've tried to read them up, read up on them, but I still don't quite understand how they interact with the rest of the game, like the quests and all that stuff, because it is a single-player game, if I'm not mistaken. And it is supposed to have a story, and it's supposed to be quest-based, but I just don't understand how it works yet, because of, it's that hybrid sandbox questing thing. So we'll see. Hopefully, since it's funded, we'll definitely see something come out of this. Great. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Valve, I should say, on the 19th, greenlit 50 more games. Among that list, and I'm just listing off the ones that I know a little bit of something about. There were 50 titles there. But the first one that jumped out at me was BeamNG Drive. That is a soft body physics car simulation game. I have not played it. I have some of the simi car games I don't really like too much. I like more of an arcade racing thing. But I might check it out at some point. I've seen plenty of videos of it from Kurt J Mac channel, so I kind of understand what's going on there. But it's everything I've seen has been very early, so I don't know what it's eventually going to be. I mean, it sounds like right now it's more of a sandbox than it is anything else. So I don't know if it's going to continue to be a sandbox or if it's going to be a racing game, or I'm not even sure at this point. Another one that was greenlit, Blockade Runner. This one is a long time coming. I've been following them for a while. It is a voxel-based sci-fi game where you build your own ships, very, very similar to Star Maid, which is also a sci-fi build your own spaceship and fly around shooting things up, blasty, all that stuff, pew pew. Blockade Runner is very similar. It's also got a story around it. I don't know that Star Maid has ever had a story. I think Star Maid is is closer to Minecraft as far as the story goes. It's just basically a sandbox, and it's up to you to do whatever you want to do. Blockade Runner kind of takes the same idea, but wraps it in a story, from what I understand. I just don't know. I haven't had my hands on any of the alpha or anything like that, so I don't know. I haven't been able to play it, so I don't really know how it's going to shape up. But I've been keeping my eye on it. Ethereum. Oh, we know Ethereum. They just got greenlit. So congratulations to them. They're close. Their final, I believe the release candidate went out about a week or so ago. Not to the Kickstarter backers. I think it was just, actually, no, I think we did get access to the release. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I believe we do have access to the release candidate. So that was out, and hopefully a release will be coming of that very soon. And you'll be able to pick it up on Steam too, hopefully. So there you go, because they've been greenlit. Galactic Princess, we were just talking about them. They were also greenlit. Not only did they hit their funding goal in 7 days on Kickstarter, but they also got greenlit in the process. So we'll be looking forward to seeing them on Steam as well. Interstellaria, talked a bunch about this. Very similar to Galactic Princess. It's also, with the exception of it, also has planetary combat and all that fun stuff. Again, 2D side-scrolling Terraria-like mechanics. That was greenlit, so congratulations to that team. I can't wait for that. There's a lot of things I can't wait for. And also, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Starcrawlers was greenlit. Now, another thing that I picked off the list here that I didn't know anything about until just about 10 minutes ago when I started reading up on it and watching their videos. Adventurer Manager? This looks freaking awesome. If I'm to be totally honest. I actually just signed up for, or put my name in the hat for an alpha copy of it. So hopefully I can get into the alpha of that. I suppose I would have had a better chance if I put on there that I was a member of the press, but I don't feel like a member of the press. I mean, technically I am because I do Let's Play videos, but I feel dirty. I feel weird doing that. I feel like I'm lying a little bit if I put, yes, I am a member of the press on there, because I don't have that many. Maybe if I had 30,000 subscribers or something like that, maybe I wouldn't have as much consternation about saying that. But for right now, I'm hoping maybe I'll just get lucky and they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. But that looks Adventure Manager it reminds me a heck of a lot of the Dragon Quest games on the NES and SNES. Well, not SNES, but more NES, because it's sort of like a 16-bit graphic type of look to it. And essentially, it is what you would expect, except instead of you being the adventurer, you are the king, right? And you send off parties of adventurers out from your kingdom to go run, dungeons and caves and all that fun stuff. And then you manage them and you get all the loot from them and you equip them properly and all this stuff. It looks cool. Like just the old school graphics of it had me, but then when it was like, oh yeah, and by the way, we're going to throw the whole premise on its head, and we're going to say, instead of you being the adventurer, you hire adventurers, and you're just the king, and you're making them go off and do what needs to be done, and that is terrific. I cannot wait. I hope I can get in on that. I hope I can throw money their way. That's the other thing that I feel weird about is, like, technically speaking, if I put, I was a member of the press, I might get a early access copy, like a press copy where you get something for free. And then I feel bad about that because really I want to throw money at them is what I really want to do. And I don't know if they have any Kickstarter or anything like that planned or not. All I know is that they were just recently greenlit. And I'll have to do some more digging. Maybe I can find some more information there. But yeah, I'm stoked. I am really stoked about that. I hope that comes to fruition shortly. So that takes care of sort of the Steam roundup of titles. Some more things that came down the pike. FTL, the guys who've done FTL. As you know, that there's a new free DLC that they're working on called Advanced Edition, so FTL Advanced Edition. They announced this week some of the new features that the Advanced some of the new features that the Advanced Edition will be sporting. One of them is a clone bay, which is intriguing and also kind of scary. So essentially, anyone who played the FTL before knows the pain of sending of losing crew members to in-game text, right? Like, you have these events, you can go and, say, explore a space station, and you send your people over, and then based on your decisions, you may end up one person or two people less than what came in, and it's all text-based and it all happens off camera, and it's like, it kind of sucks. But with the clone bay, basically you can do that with impunity, and you'll just hatch another clone of that crew member, and off you go. I don't know quite how it's going to work. Now they've mentioned that if your clone bay gets damaged or loses power, any of your clones that were in progress will die permanently. So permadeath is still there. But it was kind of ambiguous the way they said it, because the way I was also reading into it was that if it ever lost, like even if you weren't in the process of hatching a clone and the clone bay went down, that your crew members who were clones would die as well. I don't know if that's the case or not. That seems kind of weird to me because they're clones, they're living, they shouldn't need it, but who knows? It's still early to really parse that correctly. So that's one of the items that they said. Also, sorry, I had a little brain aneurysm there for a minute. Also, a hacking system. And the way they say this will work is you'll have a new module. So there's going to be some new module slots that they've added. I believe they said 4 additional module slots you can have on your ships. They all drain off the same power source, so you have to manage them. But one of them is the hacking module, where you can select an enemy subsystem, and based on the subsystem, there's different effects that can happen when you actually hack it. For instance, lots of background noise. Sorry, some sawing going on in the background there. For instance, if you say take over their clone, or not clone, drone, that's the word I wanted to use, drone bay, you might be able to either disable their drones or turn them against them, make their offensive drones turn against them and start to attack the enemy ship that they're on. Other systems will have different effects, they say, life support and all that stuff. And one of the side effects of the hacking is that it actually, if it's a system inside the ship, the enemy ship, it will lock down the doors to it to try to slow down the crew from keeping them to overriding your hack. So that's pretty cool. I hope that that sounds like that's an interesting addition. That I'm really looking forward to that. The mind control is another addition where you send one of your crew members over, and you can mind control the enemy crew, and I believe you can also mind control the enemy crew if they board you. And I think what happens is, if I remember reading it correctly, if the enemy crew boards your ship and you mind control them, they'll immediately transport back to their ship and still be under your control, and then just start wreaking havoc over there. If you're on an enemy ship, I believe you can still mind control other things. You have to have at least one of your guys on there, other characters, and then it's the same idea. They'll just be at your bidding and do wreck whatever you tell them to wreck. And then, since all these additional things, there's, as I mentioned, there's 4 new slots. Excuse me, my voice is going a little bit here. Since there's 4 new slots, and they all drain off the same power supply, you have to manage your power a little bit better. There's also an auxiliary battery that they've introduced that will, I believe, give you 15 to 20 seconds of energy. Additional energy that you can then use for all of your systems to keep them powered up, and then it has to go on cooldown. Now I don't know if it was 15 to 20 seconds of energy or if it was 15 to 20 seconds of cooldown. I don't remember which one, but I know 15 to 20 was was mentioned in there. So new mechanics and all that fun jazz. There's also new story points being put in. I believe a new race is also getting introduced, if I'm not mistaken. So lots of interesting stuff there on the FTL front. I will definitely be playing FTL Advanced Edition when it comes out. I have FTL, the original one. I just felt there was no need for me to play it since it's been played to death by everybody. But when the Advanced Edition comes out, I will revisit that. And talking about a game that is near and dear to my heart, Wing Commander. There's some information on that. First of all, I did manage this week to get at least one episode edited of Wing Commander Saga. And as I mentioned in that video, I'll mention it again. One of the big problems I ran into, and I didn't realize this until I literally completely recorded the entire series and then realized I had this problem. I was rocking Flux at the time, FL.ux, which is a software program to, at nighttime it will reduce the color temperature on your screen so that it doesn't blast your eyes out as badly, and it can affect your sleep and all that stuff, sleep patterns and all that. If you're gaming late at night like I do, or using a computer late at night because of the colors are so bright. I was rocking that at the time. I honestly did not believe that it would cause an issue recording, because I thought it was actually changing stuff as far as the video driver is concerned with the monitor. But it did, unfortunately. Some episodes I actually recorded during the day, so there was no problem. You'll see the full color scope there. Most of the episodes I recorded at nighttime, so Flux was in full swing. I've gone through in Vegas and I've added some of the color back, but I mean, I can't get it to where it should be. I'm just not that good. So I've done the best I can without making it too blue, because basically what Flux does is it removes all the bluish colors from, it reduces the blues and makes them a little bit warmer colors, so it doesn't hurt your eyes as much. And I went in Vegas and I tried to add some of that blue back into it. The colors are still a little bit muddy, but they're better than they were. Let's just say that. They're better than the raw footage. So hopefully we can all look beyond that. But anyway, and I am so happy to be finally getting through some of the editing on those, because that's been sitting on my hard drive for months now, and I've been promising it for months, and I'm finally now getting it out there. Which means, coincidentally, I actually hit my goal that I said I was trying to hit last week of having 7 series going on per week. One video per week of every city, or one video a day for one series. So seven series is what I wanted, and I got it. So hopefully I can maintain it for a while. Anyway, we'll see. I may end up going back down to 6 maybe, and doing one series twice a week. I tend to think like the Minecraft stuff, like the Livecraft Mine, I might want to do twice a week. It's a toss-up. That one's a difficult one, because I'm trying not to do too much prep work on camera. I'm trying to do all that off camera, because that seems to be what people expect now. And actually, I'm planning on, I don't know if I'll do it this weekend or not, I'm planning on getting some of my live streaming set up, and maybe doing the prep work as a live stream, like a lot of YouTubers do, and trying to take care of it that way, because what the hell not? Why the hell not, right? I'm playing the game. I might as well be recording it at the same time. But we'll see. All things are being planned right now, and are subject to change. But along those same lines of the Wing Commander stuff, there was a Kickstarter that just started up by George Oldzie. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Oldzie, Oldziey, aka the Fat Man. He did all the music composition for Wing Commander 3 and 4. Very awesome music, by the way. Of course, I love everything that there is to love about Wing Commander anyway. The music, I think Wing Commander 4 in particular, the music was really good on that. And what he's done, he's gone to Kickstarter and said, look, for 35 grand, I'm going to go off into Bratislavia or one of those other countries that has a good musical reputation. And I'm going to redo 9.5 minutes of Wing Commander score, from Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander 4 with a, 80-piece orchestra and a 40-voice choir. And for me, that is just nirvana. I mean, I would love to. I would play that CD all the time, because those are kinds of things. I joke about this when I'm at work. When I need to concentrate, as a programmer generally needs to do, I usually throw my headphones on, and I always look for music that doesn't have any words in it, because for some reason music with words in it tends to distract me, particularly if I'm wanting to sing along with it. I don't subject my coworkers to my singing, but you get the idea. Like, in your head you want to sing along to it. So I try to find music that has no words, and the best type of music for that is video game music. So I listen to, wow, all kinds of noise going on outside right now. So I'd listen to a lot of video game music. I listen to OC Remix. There's an OC Remix streaming audio server that someone maintains. I forget the name of it. And I have that all hooked up, and I listen to that during the day. And so the idea of having Wing Commander music and having it in a full orchestra, high, top quality stuff, that is very appealing to me. And if it's appealing to you, you should probably run over to Kickstarter and, plunk down $20 on it. Not asking for the world there. They're already at $8,107. So $35,000 goal is not that bad. And they're only 3 days into it. I mean, there's 27 days left on it, so they're not doing too bad there. And they've got a lot of the wing nuts like myself ready to back them up. So you might want to go check that out if that interests you. Granted, it is only about 9.5 minutes of audio, but I suspect that given the general thought process around humans and the orgasmic experience, 9.5 minutes is probably all you need. That was my keeping it clean for YouTube right there. Some more music, some more information here. Collateral. This was a Kickstarter project that I backed way back in the day, and I talked about many moons ago. It's a Crazy Taxi meets Blade Runner meets The Fifth Element type of game. So you're basically a hover cab and you're going around on missions. They just announced that they are recoding their engine in the full version of Unreal Engine 3 now. They were using the Unreal Development Kit, which a lot of indie gamers and indie companies use, because it is relatively inexpensive, and it gives them most of what they need. The problem is, as the guys developing Collateral have found, is that when it comes to performance, you don't get a whole lot of tools. You have to use the in-game or the in-engine scripting language, the Unreal Script or whatever it's called, and all that stuff. And you don't really gain access to the C libraries to do some low-level debugging and tweaking and all that stuff. So when you get the full engine, the full Unreal 3 engine, you get all of that. But the license for that is obviously much more expensive. Well, they've put up the money, and they've got it. And now they said that they were running into performance issues in particular. They didn't have quite as many other vehicles on screen as they wanted, and they also wanted to add pedestrians and stuff. And they just didn't have the engine throughput that they needed for it. They were already hitting performance issues. So now they can do full multi-threading and get down and dirty with the engine and get what they need out of it. So congratulations on them, and I'm cannot wait to fully get my hands on it. I do have the alpha for it, and I should actually update and at some point probably make a video because I think everybody can get into the alpha now. It's not closed anymore, so everybody can just go on their website and pony up whatever it is for it. So that will be on my list of things to do, my ever-growing list of things to do. Also a little tidbit here that I ran across. Interplay just released Descent 2 on Steam. Descent, the original Descent is already on Steam. They released that earlier. Descent 2 has been released now. And I'm guessing that they remade it so that it will work on modern systems. That's why they're releasing it on Steam, I imagine. I don't think it's an HD remake. Interplay has been doing some HD remakes as of late, but I don't think this qualifies as one yet. But anybody who doesn't know what that is, Descent 2 was made by Interplay in 1996, and it's a 6 Degree of Freedom space fighter. Well, not. Yeah, I guess you could call it space fighter game. You weren't really in space. You were more on mining colonies, going underground, fighting a lot of robots. It is the granddaddy of them all as far as giving you complete freedom of movement. Tunnels that go off in various directions. So if you've never played it, it's a nice classic. You should go probably check on Steam for it. I believe it's only $10, so it's not like it's an eye gouging that's going on. Also, I better get this out now because I'm back to town here, so I'll be wrapping up this episode pretty quickly. But I don't want to. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this. Humble Bundle 11 came out this week. There's 9 days left on it. Some of the games in Humble Bundle 11: Guacamelee, I should say, Guacamelee. Gold Edition is in there. That's a 2D fighting, 2D side-scrolling fighting game. If you really want a good idea of it, go check out Vintage Beef's channel. He's got a whole playthrough of that. That's how I know about it. Dust and Elysian Tale. I was going to say trail there. Dust and Elysian Tale is also in Humble Bundle 11. I've never played it. I've heard of it, but I've never played it, so I can't tell you much about it. Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams is there. That's another 2D platformer, weird melange thing. The Swapper. I have no idea what that is. Antichamber. That is a puzzle game, if I remember correctly. And Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine, which is more title than I know what to deal with. Both of those, Antichamber and Monaco, are the beat the average price, which right now is like $4.56, and you unlock those. So yet another Humble Bundle to spice up your Steam library. Or if you're like me, to constantly make you rejigger things and come up with more categories to put things in. I need more buckets. More buckets in my Steam. Oh, all right. So I think let me just clear up my inventory a little bit. Let's talk about one more thing here. Twitch Plays Pokemon has officially been a pain in the ass for Twitch as far as chat goes. Twitch Plays Pokemon is I'm just hearing about this now because apparently it's a thing now. Someone put up a robot, a computer controlled Pokemon, I believe it's Pokemon Red that they're doing, game. And they put it up on Twitch as a live stream, and they basically hook the robot up to, or the computer algorithm anyway, up to the Twitch chat, and people can go onto the stream and basically order the main characters around and play the game. Twitch is literally playing a Pokemon game, and in so doing, they are absolutely destroying the infrastructure of Twitch and the chat and everything else. Because I think at one point in time they had like 80,000 people tuned into it. So that's a thing. And I'm noticing Pokemon popping up a lot now, especially Pixelmon and all that stuff. The Pixelmon mod for Minecraft. I'm seeing a lot of people do that. I've been tempted to go and check it out, but I'm not a Pokemon fan. I'm really not. It's weird. I just never really got into it. I guess I'm just too old school, and so I'm not really going to look into any of those things for the Minecraft, the Pixelmon stuff, because it doesn't really appeal to me. But yeah, I figured I'd mention it because it is a thing and it is going on. Also, there's a disco dodgeball, robot roller derby disco dodgeball tournament going on, I believe this weekend, if not right now as I speak. You might want to follow the subreddit for that. I think it's Disco Dodgeball is the subreddit for it. So that will pretty much do it for this episode. It's been a long one, but there was a lot of things to go on, and I still didn't cover everything. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next Sunday.